Greetings, YouTube. I have busted out my Norton multi-oil stone number IM313 Norton Coated Abrasive Division, Troy, New York, USA. And this is a 3-stone sharpening system. This is the medium. There we go. This is the fine, and this is the coarse. And it sits in an oil bath, which is what you're looking at here. The oil bath should be probably topped off. I forgot to bring my oil down with me, but it's good enough for what I need to do for it at the moment. And my current goal is to resharpen these. So these are a pair of clippers, and actually I need to replace the spring as well. But I want to sharpen them. And originally there was a slight convex profile here, but I've already ground that off years ago, so that's flat. But they're getting dull, and trying to put an edge on this chamfer on the inside is exceedingly difficult. It's very small. So if I grind it here, I should get what I want. I'm also going to take a stab at sharpening this chisel, which I've never actually sharpened chisel before in my life. This is an old chisel I had kicking around. I have no idea where I got it from. I've used it before, but not often. But it needs to be honed up. So I thought I'd give it a shot. And we're going to start with the medium grit, because neither of these tools is dull enough to require the coarse. So we're going to give this a shot. See if I can get the angle right. Now, the reason you have an oil bath is to get the metal filings off your stone and into the bath, at least in theory. This isn't particularly exciting, but this is how you have to get the edge that you want. Kind of try to keep it as flat as possible, and we go back and forth. Yeah, I was wrong on that estimate. Oh, and I've got a rubber band holding on there at the moment, holding them together so that I don't have to worry about that at the same time. I may want to do this on a course to begin with. I could be wrong. It's going to sound much different. I had to find the springs, though. I was just in the basement because I thought I had put my springs in the basement. I have a small plastic container with an assortment of springs. I thought I had stored it in the basement, but not only can I not find the box of springs, it's about the size of a paperback book, but I can't find the entire tote box of my tools. I don't know where the tote box was. I had 3 tote boxes from back when I lived at my last apartment, and I condensed them to 2 because I didn't need some of the tools any longer, and I was able to store some of them in the apartment, my unit upstairs. I thought I had got it down to 2 boxes, not 1. But at the moment, I can only find one tote box. Well, that's not true. I can find multiple tote boxes. I can only find one that's got my gear in it. The others are all things that belong to my wife or my mother-in-law. Alright, well, this isn't going to be particularly exciting for right now, so I'm going to jump ahead to the next stage in this process so you folks all don't get bored. Alright, I've got this to the point where I can now hear and feel a difference. I don't know if you can hear a difference. And this is once again nice and flush. So I'm going to switch over to the medium. Oh, it's just so much slicker. It's amazing. I can already tell there's a difference by the tip on the clippers. Now these are not meant for cutting metal. These are clippers I use at work for trimming rubber and plastics, mostly rubber. The times I have to trim aluminum, I usually just use an X-Acto style knife blade. Though I sharpen my X-Acto style knife blade as well. I've been using the same X-Acto knife blade since November of 2013. I hone it up on a V sharpener. And the V sharpener I've got doesn't quite have the right angle. It's not the same angle as you find on an X-Acto knife. You would need an angle about half the degrees that I've got. It's a pocket sharpener with two ceramic rods set at an angle. And it's really meant for general purpose knives, kitchen knives, and field knives, things like that. Because it is a pocket, you can literally stick it in your pocket. But I keep it at work because I can sharpen up my one of my leads has a knife that I gave her, and I'm the guy that keeps it sharp for her. But it also means I can hone up my X-Acto knife, because the goal is I'm actually trying to see how long can I keep. That's much sharper right there. It's like that's kind of dangerously pointy at this point. But I'm actually trying to experiment, see how long can I keep an X-Acto knife going. Alrighty, that's getting there. It's almost where I want it, I think. Because again, these don't have to be shaving sharp. I'm not going to say razor sharp. Scott will beat me up. These have to. I would just like to get this sharpen up, because lately I've been having to use a little bit more force than I really like to accomplish the task that I wish to accomplish, which is cutting and trimming parts. And maybe is the reason the spring broke, or just the spring has fatigue. I use these clippers a lot at work. Now I could just order another pair from work, but all the ones they have at work now are asymmetrical right-handed, and while these are universal, and I like to be able to have these around because occasionally one of my leads covers me on break, and she's left-handed. I like having a tool around that. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to deburr the edges when I'm done. That's actually, the edge is actually sharper right here than I want it to be. All right, that's looking nice, and it's looking smooth. I'm just going to give it a... It's like sliding on glass, man. It really is. It really is. It's like sliding on glass. This is actually probably, frankly, this is probably considerably smoother than glass is. Alrighty, well, let's give it a... Take my rubber band off. And get my fingers a little... Get some of the oil and... Okay, this side is actually a little bit sharper than that side, but not... It's here's fine, in here not. This is a little more consistent all the way from end to end. Well, this one is a little on the slightly duller than that, but again, this is just for clipping. And I can use them like this without the spring, so that is doable. But having a spring will be much more useful. Now, accomplished that. Now I'm going to give a try at this because I have never sharpened a chisel. First I'm just going to do, whoops, wrong one, I don't want that one, this one. And do the back a little, completely flat, just to get knock the burrs off. Yeah, I can see the polish on that already. Alrighty, so now it's going to be about getting the angle right. A little bit of resistance, not much, a little bit of resistance here. I'm letting the light play over this. See if I can find it. See, I can, like, for example, that spot and that spot are being polished, and so is the edge. But I would like to see if I can get, and this isn't particularly, this is a Popular Mechanics chisel, so it's not like the highest quality tool ever made. Yeah, it's a little bit better. I can feel it. It's a little bit better. I tried to find a gauge for setting this bevel, but they didn't have anything at my big box store. And again, it's a good chisel to practice on because, again, I'm not ruining anything if it doesn't go perfect. Now, I'm creating this center section in here is not shiny while the edge all the way around is. So I'm going to do this for a bit and I'll get back to you. Alrighty, here we go, and I've got a distinct millimeter, I don't know if you can see it, a millimeter strip across there which is mirror polished. And this apparently has a very slight concave edge, grind, and I could work at this for quite a while to make that concave grind go smaller, eventually become completely flat. But again, this is a cheap chisel, and the part of the chisel that matters is the edge. So I've got the fine stone out. You probably can't even hear that. It is so smooth, it's wonderful. Unless you've really ever sharpened something on a nice stone before, there's no other sensation in the world I don't like it. Because that is not perfectly flat, it's not being perfectly stable. But again, like I said, it's mostly an experiment. It's my first time really sharpening a chisel, and it's a good chisel to work on because it's not worth a whole lot. The corners are perfect. Back is flat. There's no burrs anymore. Human fingers are very good at finding burrs. You'd be amazed. You can detect surface textures with the human finger that are as smooth as glass. You really can. So I can feel that. I can feel the difference between that in here and this in there. This edge is probably 4 times as smooth as this is at this point. I'm hoping you can see that because I'm actually standing at the side of this. But yep, that's nice and sharp. At least for my general household duties, I'm not doing any fine woodworking, and at the moment I'm not doing any woodworking at all. This is just an experiment because I knew I was going to get the stone out. So there we have it. I've sharpened up a chisel to a usable edge. No fine woodworker out there is going to confuse this with a finely crafted tool sharpened by an expert, but it's going to do what it's supposed to do, which is all I can really ask for. And I've gotten these significantly sharper than what I want, and the tip is actually a little sharper than I need it to be. And this edge, I'm going to have to knock that edge off. I'll do it upstairs. I'm not going to do that in the stone. I don't want to screw up the stone. But yeah, I can get that edge knocked off a little. Now I got to find the spring, because there's a spring that's supposed to go in here. It goes from there. There's another hole on that side. And no bloody spring at the moment. So I'm gonna go find one of those. So there you have it. At least the first step in trying to recondition these so I can get them back to work and use them. So I finally actually did find the spring in question. This is actually being filmed the next day. I forgot to film this on the day of I did it. And this is actually designed, see a little loop on the end? Right there. This is actually designed to be used as a spring in this manner. But I cut off a section of it because the spring's actually about yay long. It's about another inch longer than it was. And I stretched a piece out so that it has a little compression feature now. And then I installed it into the tool now. So, oh, there we go. So now it will open them after I close them. So there you have it. It isn't exactly the right size, but I've got lots of these if it falls out or it breaks. Now that I know where they are, and I can find them and use them. All I had to do was take a pair of wire cutters and then cut this to shape, a couple of pair of pliers, and give it a little stretch, and I was good to go. I did knock off the edge off of both sides, so that it no longer has a burr there from the sharpening process. I left the tip like it was. We'll see how it goes. If I decide I don't like it, I can always knock it off. I have a piece of emery paper at work I keep in my toolbox anyway, in case I need to polish something in a rush. So I can always use that to knock that tip off if I don't like the way it shows up. I like the way it works out when I'm on the job. But overall, I'm very happy with the way this came out. It's nice and flush in the back. It's nice and sharp. They should be able to do their job much more efficiently, which is always a nice thing now, isn't it? So there you have it. Reconditioned cutters. So I'm happy about that. And my chisel, which is put away in my toolbox. So all in all, a successful endeavor in sharpening some tools.